So good to see you again. Hello. Okay, trigger warning for tonight's very tragic story. It is a very tragic story, and it might be considered PG-13 to rated R, more rated R. So for those of you that can't handle that kind of stuff, you can go ahead and skedaddle. Okay, we're going to be reading about David tonight, so grab your replays. David's kids, I should say. The David from David and Goliath. That David. I hope you're cozy. I hope you're nice and cozy, and I hope that your Sunday has been going really well too, by the way. I had a great Sunday. I made an avocado smoothie, and I moisturized my hair, and my nails are looking so cute. I literally love Russian manicures so much. Can't understand a word of what that lady's saying. She's from Ukraine. Her assistant's from Ukraine, she's from Russia. But they do an amazing job. These are like 3 weeks old. Amazing. Okay, let's begin. Turn your pages. Turn your books to 2 Samuel 13. So we're going to be reading 2 Samuel 13, verse 1. Those of you that know, brace yourselves. Okay, here we go. Absalom, the son of David, had a lovely sister, whose name was Tamar, and Amnon, the son of David, loved her. They're half-brothers. He had a lot of kids. Amnon was so distressed over his sister Tamar that he became sick, for she was a virgin, and it was improper for Amnon to do anything with her yet. Alabama. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimei, David's brother. Now Jonadab was a very crafty man. He said to him, "Why are you, the king's son, becoming thinner day after day? Will you not tell me?" Amnon said to him, "I love Tamar, his sister, my brother Absalom's sister." So Jonadab said to him, "Lie down on your bed and pretend to be ill, and when your father comes to see you, say to him, 'Please, let my sister Tamar come and give me food, and prepare the food in my sight, that I may eat it and eat it from her hand.'" Then Amnon lay down and pretended to be ill. And when the king came to see him, Amnon said to the king, "Please, let Tamar, my sister, come and make a couple of cakes for me in my sight, that I may eat from her hand." And David sent home to Tamar. Oh, by the way, David's the king of Israel, for those of you that don't know. And David sent home to Tamar, saying, "Now go to your brother Amnon's house and prepare food for him." So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was lying down. Then she took flour and kneaded it, made cakes in his sight, and baked the cakes. And she took the pan and placed them out before him, but he refused to eat. Then Amnon said, "Have everyone go out for me," and they all went out from him. I guess the other people in the room. Then Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the food into the bedroom, that I may eat from your hand." And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them to Amnon her brother in the bedroom. Now, when she had brought them to him to eat, he took hold of her and said to her, "Come, lie with me, my sister." But she answered him, "No, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing should be done in Israel. Do not do this disgraceful thing Exclamation mark. And I, where could I take my shame? And as for you, you would be the like of the fools in Israel. Like one of the fools in Israel. Therefore, please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you. However, he would not heed her voice, and being stronger than she, he forced her and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, Arise, be gone. He hated what he did. He hated the shame that came with what he did, I think. He was just ashamed and embarrassed. So he took it out on her. Anyway, and Amnon said to her, Arise, be gone. So she said to him, No, indeed, this evil of sending me away is worse than the other that you did to me. But he would not listen to her. Then he called his servant who attended him and said, Here, put this woman out away from me, and bolt the door behind her. Now she had on a robe of many colors, for the king's virgin daughters wore such apparel. And his servant put her out and bolted the door behind her. Then Tamar put ashes on her head and tore her robe of many colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head and went away crying bitterly. And Absalom, her brother, the other brother, who's also, by the way, her full brother, that other guy was a half-brother. Nothing against half-brothers, I have one myself. He's like, 9? He's like 10. Freaking Joseph King of Dreams over there. But anyway, he's in Minnesota with my mom. I rarely see him. But he is so spoiled. It's insane. I'm happy he's happy, but anyway, I digress. Back on track. And Absalom, her full brother, said to her, Has Amnon your brother been with you? But now hold your peace, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this thing to heart. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house. Interesting. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very angry. And Absalom spoke to his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad, for Absalom hated Amnon, because he had forced his sister Tamar. Interesting. And it came to pass, after 2 full years, that Absalom had sheep shears in Baal-hazor, which is near Ephraim. So Absalom invited all the king's sons. 2 years later. Then Absalom came to the king and said, Kindly note, your servant has sheep shearers. People that shear sheep, I guess. Please, let the king and his servants go with your servant. But the king said to Absalom, No, my son, let us not all go now. Not all go now, lest we be a burden to you. Then he urged him, but he would not go. He blessed him. Then Absalom said, If not, let my brother Amnon go with us. God, I'm not gonna say anything. So basically, I will read that. And it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal-hazor, which is near Ephraim. So Absalom invited all the king's sons. Then Absalom came to the king and said, Kindly note your servant has sheep shearers. Please let the king and his servants go with your servant. So he's like, asking his dad to come with them. But the king said to Absalom, No, my son, let us not all go now, lest we be a burden to you. Oh, so sweet. Then he urged him, but he would not go, and he blessed him. Just fine, I don't want to burden you, son. Then Absalom said, If not, please let my brother Amnon go with us. And the king said to him, Why should he go with you? Oh, no reason at all, just didn't come fresh. Anyway, the king said to him, Why should he go with you? But Absalom urged him. So he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, "Watch now, when Amnon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say to you, strike Amnon, then kill him. Do not be afraid. Have I not commanded you? Be courageous and valiant." This is some red wedding stuff that's crazy. So the servants of Absalom did to Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and each one got on his mule and fled. That's like crazy. So they had a whole like dinner party, and they said, "When his heart is merry with wine, and when I say to you, strike Amnon." It's not a really good code. I don't think he really cared about a code. He just wanted the dude dead, I guess. "When I say to you, strike Amnon, then kill him. Do not be afraid of it. I commanded you. Be courageous and valiant." So the servants of Absalom did to Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose like, "Oh my gosh," and they got on their mules and they dipped. That hurt. That was my elbow. Okay, anyway. And it came to pass while they were on the way that the news came to David, the king, their father, saying, "Absalom has killed all the king's sons, and not one of them is left." Who said that? That is a horrible messenger. So the king arose and tore his garments and lay on the ground, and all his servants stood by with their clothes torn. They loved to do that back then. Then Jonadab, the son of Shimei, David's brother, answered and said, "Let not my lord suppose they have killed all the young men, the king's sons, for only Amnon is dead. For by the command of Absalom this has been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar." He's like, Amnon's the only one dead. Absalom been planning this since he did wrong by his sister. "Now therefore, let not my lord the king take the thing to his heart, to think that all the king's sons are dead, for only Amnon's dead." It's like, it's okay, only one of your sons, the baby one, is dead. Like, the others are still good. Don't be sad. Okay. Absalom flees to Cashapp. Then Absalom fled. He's like, uh-oh. And the young man who was keeping watch lifted his eyes and looked, and there many people were coming from the road on the hillside behind him. And Jonadab said to the king, "Look, the king's sons are coming." And your servant said, "So it is." As your servant said, so it is. So it was, as soon as he had finished speaking, that the king's sons indeed came, and they lifted up their voice and wept. It was awful. It was so bad. It was a nice dinner party, and then Absalom. I feel like I would have been expecting it, because if he hated him for 2 years straight, and then all of a sudden invited him to a nice little get-together, gonna drink some wine, eat some snacks and stuff, I'd be sussed out the whole time. I'd be in the corner of the table, chewing on the chicken wing, looking like, I don't know why they're like acting like it's a surprise, but maybe they didn't know. Maybe they weren't that close. I don't know. Anyway. The king's sons indeed came, and they lifted up their voice and wept. Also the king and all his servants wept very bitterly. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, the king of Geshur, and David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur, and was there 3 years. And King David longed to go to Absalom, for he had been comforted concerning Amnon because he was dead. He's like, I want Absalom back. I miss Absalom. 3 years is a bit. That's a good bit. Absalom returns to Jerusalem. So, oh wait. rest of this later. Absalom's treason. We can read the rest of this later. Yeah, this is good stuff. So, we'll read about Absalom returning to Jerusalem in a part 2. I'm gonna end it here, but we'll return back to this. I'm gonna put my little bookmark thing right here in 2 Samuel 14. Okay. Yeah, there's a whole thing with Absalom. The rest of the story gets it's kind of crazy. I don't know if it can get that much crazier than what happened, but it's still kind of crazy. I found out about that story a few years ago, and I thought it was insane, but the older I got and the more I learned about the Bible and the stories behind things, I kind of came to understand what I've heard a lot of people speak of when it comes to David. Kind of ostriching, being very passive. So, a lot of people, when you first read that, you think David said he was very mad that his son raped his daughter. You'd think that he would do something, but he didn't, and people are like, what is up with that? He's the king, for one, even if he wasn't, okay, but he was the king, and something crazy like that happened, you'd think that he would be like, he'll get Amnon and do something, punish him somehow, or, and he didn't do anything, and that led to the festering and the resentment building up in Absalom, righteously so in my humble opinion. But he killed his brother, so the whole thing with David is, well, what a lot of people think, a lot of people suspect, is that David just felt a lot of guilt and shame, not justifying anything, obviously, but the reasoning behind his lack of incentive, his lack of action, was because of the shame and guilt he felt from his past deeds, when he was younger and he saw Bathsheba bathing on the roof, that woman, and then he wanted her real bad because he was lusting after her, so he got her husband killed by pitting him, because he's king, right? He pit her husband on the front lines and told everyone basically to pull back, and he got him killed. That way he could marry her and have her. So in his older years, now with all his kids, seeing another sexual sin manifest into something heinous like it did, probably brought him back to the time of when he did horrible things. And so maybe because of that, a lot of people, including myself, suspect that he didn't act upon it because of the shame and the guilt that he felt about his own sin. Who am I? Who am I to punish him? I did something really bad too in the past. And I believe that that is his downfall as a parent and as just a Christian. He still should have been a good father and not let his shame and guilt of his past stop him from standing up for what was right in the moment. And because of his passivity and everything festered and turned into something horrible, where there was revenge and resentment and killing, and you'll see it gets even crazier with more stuff down the line, but this whole chain of events that continued and eventually tore his family apart, because he didn't squash it right then and there, because he was who am I? And so I know that this is a very grand story and a very old one that a lot of people can't really relate to, but I think that it can relate in a way. So I feel basically, I don't know, how should I put it? A lot of people, including myself in the past, have been very hesitant to say anything think. So like, oh, who am I? I'm a sinner. I've done this and I've done that in my past, and they're scared to correct someone on something very blatantly wrong, you know? And that doesn't help anybody. Your past is your past, and if you let your past affect someone else's present because of your shame and your guilt, keeping you from, you know, acting upon something or speaking upon something like a very clear, obvious wrong in the moment, then you're at fault. Your past is your past. You're forgiven if you ask for forgiveness. It's cleaned, it's washed away, and you should speak up and do something if you see, even if it is a similar sin to your own or your past sins. You should say something. And still, I always think, my brain's going like a million miles per hour. I always think of that one parable of the guy talking to the other guy, saying that, hey, you have a speck in your eye, you should really get that speck out of your eye, when he has a whole plank in his eye. I know they speak of it later in the Bible, but like, it always, in that parable, the lesson was to get the plank, the huge plank out of your own eye before you try and get the speck out of your brother's eye, or tell him to get the speck out of his own eye. But I don't think this is very similar. I used to think like that. I used to be like, I had a whole plank, who am I? But it's past that parable, I believe. If you're like me and you think of that parable when you think of things like this, is in reference to the current situation. So if you have a big problem that you're dealing with, like a huge struggle or challenge that you're like not handling well and you could be handling better, you should probably handle your own stuff. Like, you should probably fix your own crap before you go pointing stuff out and telling other people to fix their stuff. You should never judge and tell people that, hey, you need to fix this and fix that in like a judgy, condemning way. Anyways, but in a correcting and nurturing and I want what's best for you type of way. And of course, like in this instance, in a seeking justice type of way, because that was heinous. So there needs to be punishment for heinous things, you know, still. But yeah, I'm rambling. I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at. Don't let your past failures dictate you speaking up, whether you speak up or you don't speak up for very clear, obvious wrongs in the moment. It's past, let it go, and try and heal what you can and correct what you can in the moment, pertaining to yourself or anyone else. Like, just let go of the past, because in this instance, it ruined so much. It wasn't his fault that his son, maybe he raised him bad, I don't know, but that his son was outcast and did that to his sister, because he's the one who really messed up and screwed up and did that heinous act. But as a father and leader, he could have squashed it and just, you know, handled Amnon, but he didn't, and his son got mad and yada yada, you know how it went. You just heard me read it. But yeah, I remember reading that a few years ago, and then again the other day, and I just thought that I'd share that with you guys. I'd love talking with y'all like this. I'm gonna do more reading videos like these for you guys, for me to do it. It's fun for me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a great weekend. It's been so stormy here in Kozy. I love it. I had a really fun day yesterday. I went to the Slavic market. What else did I do? I did so many things. Oh, I found this like bookstore. It's like huge, like a whole huge warehouse full of like old books. And I got two vintagey books from like 1920 something and another from like early in this last century. They're really kind of brittle. They're still like decently put together, but they're kind of like, so when I read them, I'm very gentle with them. But I love old books. I love collecting old books. things that are tangible. That way, no censoring can happen. No editing or altering can happen. But that's a whole different topic for a different day. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading with me. Thank you for hanging out. I wish I could sit down and bundle up with you guys under a blanket and actually read and talk with you guys. But since I can, this will have to suffice. So thank you for hanging out. I hope you have a great week. Hopefully this is a good start to your week. And I'll talk to you later. I'll see you Wednesday. We'll back up. We'll see you Wednesday. I'm feeling better, by the way, for those of you that asked about me being sexed out. I feel a lot better. Citrus, vitamin C, and sleep, and bone broth has done wonders. So, that was my shoulder. I'm still getting old, apparently, but I feel great. So, okay, I'll let you go. Bye. Hopefully this uploads before it's like 11, 12 at night.